serve in Shimolatewa prisons, when tomorrow you are going to be in committee. So what is the business of me teaching you? I want to teach you because I'll find you as a consultant when my bones begin to ache because I'm growing old. Then you will advise me, Mwalimu, do this. That's why we are teaching you. That is why we want you in this school. So today, being a youth servant, I chose my topic to be the battle for influence. And the topic resonates well with what has already transpired since the day started. The battle for influence did not start today. A life story is told of a seasoned Air Force pilot in the Egyptian army who had served in the army for 15 years and then decided to venture into private commercial piloting. The pilot had over 22,000 flying hours. For those who will take aviation as your career, you'll discover that the number of hours you fly determines on the experience and the status of you as a pilot. So if I say I have 1,000 flying hours, you don't need to ask me whether I'm very experienced. That tells you I'm a junior pilot. But if I tell you I've done 30,000 flying hours, you do not need to ask me, are you an experienced pilot? That means I'm a senior, seasoned, and experienced pilot. This pilot, having served in the army, gathered all those experience. The Boeing 77 Max 7 had been launched by one of the Egyptian commercial airlines. And taking on his experience, he was chosen to go and undergo training and then bring and launch the new plane back at home. As usual, for those who have ever cared to do aviation or read about aviation, you don't fly a plane alone. Usually, older planes, when technology are not advanced, we could have in the cockpit, we could have flight attendants, flight engineers, first officers, and the captain. The captain is the most seasoned human officer commanding a plane. He is assisted by a first officer. Then the others, flight engineers, flight attendants, they have their roles. But modern planes, because of technology and latest advancement, with the introduction of autopilot mode, many of these people have been left out. In fact, many of those planes of today, we only need first officer and the captain. Plus the autopilot mode, you can almost individually command a plane from the start to the end. But because of no place to land and also do exchanges, we rely on the first officer to assist the captain when he has to take a rest. So the captain of this Egyptian airline trusted this first officer, who was a young man. Usually first officers are just fresh graduates. And when you are given a fresh graduate, joining instructions are that you must know that you are dealing with a fresh graduate. So you must constantly monitor it because any slight slumber could have catastrophic effects. So this young man, as they took from Egyptian Cairo airport, heading to France, a journey which was supposed to take them around 1 hour and 45 minutes. Usually the normal takeoff, getting the right altitude, and then switching it to autopilot mode, then the captain can give the first officer the necessary instructions and then take a snap or take a siesta, whatever. So after doing that, the captain took a siesta as usual and left the officer to be in charge. Unfortunately, this first officer, I don't know whether for lack of experience or for taking things casually, the way we like taking things casually, also got excited. I don't know, he got excited because he was doing it for the first time, or because the plane was new, or because he was very successful. The young man, those automatic planes, they are so digitalized that common mechanical or engineering errors can be detected. So when a warning went at the cockpit, the young man, I don't know, for not being keen, could not detect the meaning of that signal. Then, to compound his mistakes, instead of the instructions or the joining instructions in aviation, where you are mixed up, you must consult the captain. That is the work of the captain is a consultant. So where things mix you up, you must access him and ask for help. But for reasons not known to us, he decided to struggle with what he could not understand. So, as the plane was losing power, as the plane was fast descending, the captain was enjoying his siesta, and the young man was struggling to do a recap. For those who are bothered, there are so many manuals on how to correct those problems. That is why we have flight engineers who can also correct. When it is so bad, you can also request for an emergency landing. But this young man, let me call him young, because he was 22 years old, the young man could not read or take advantage of all those warning signals. But out of instinct, I think it was instinct, the captain somehow got awakened. I don't know, but those people who have experience, sometimes they have a seventh sense. He felt something was not right, up very quickly, dashed into the cockpit. Once he went to the cockpit, he immediately discovered things are not right. But one strange thing with aviation, you need to be courageous. You need to be courageous. If you discover something has gone wrong, it is only courage which can reverse things. If you mix fear plus what has gone wrong, then you are doomed. Unfortunately, the captain discovered the problem, tried to instruct this young man, but the young man could not get out of his fear and assist the captain to regain the plane. You can imagine at 30,000 feet, things have gone wrong. By the time I'm coming to rescue, we're almost below 15,000 feet. For these many big commercial planes, that is a dangerous height. You can easily meet other oncoming. The plane has already been lost from the radar. You are alone in terms of communication. In spite of all the experience that the Egyptian captain had, it was too late to regain the plane. So they saw that coming, and sadly, all the 148, including the inexperienced plus the experienced captain, all of them perished, and their story was forgotten. Young people, I had said that my topic was about the battle for influence. All of us know what is influence. We are competing for your souls, both good forces and bad forces. Unfortunately, the defining moment is so narrow. Just like the captain, the difference between saving that plane and saving the entire lives that were lost was only a moment. But the captain trusting the wrong person, the captain being at the wrong place, the captain sensing the wrong time, the first officer not being able to overcome fear, condemned All those innocent souls to one destiny, they all died. Young people, you have been brought to a good school. I think there are things you don't understand, and that's what I want to influence you. Defining moments are very brief. They are so brief that if you are not able to notice them, then you can be forever doomed. But if you have the ability to discover, then you can forever also be successful. You came from one. Few years you are going to be now from force. All along we are struggling to influence you. But as I told you, many forces are competing for you. Unfortunately, this generation of ours is heavily influenced with the wrong voices. When your parents struggle, I have not forgotten how we struggled to get vacancies in Form 1. Let me begin with Form 1. I remember our principal was even tempted to hide because of demand. He wished we could even be 500, but we are almost 700. But once you have secured this opportunity, you hardly discover how short and precious this defining moment can be to make you a better person of tomorrow or to destroy you forever. When you enjoy and rejoice that you are taking band, you are taking from G, then you don't understand that you are squandering a defining moment in your life. If you squander this opportunity in high school, my friend, you cannot redeem it. Even when you repeat, it will not be like the first moment. When you get the D, it will not be a laughing moment. I don't know why we easily get influenced, but I want to tell you that you are not new to these influences. The battle began from the key text we read. God desired us to have a very clean and good influence. That is why God created a wonderful and good earth. He called and looked at everything that he had created and he said it was good and wonderful. But the devil also wanted influence, and so he also planted his counter instructions and told them God only wants to be mischievous. God only wants to deny you some good things. He said you will die. No, you will not die. In fact, he added, you will surely not die. Just modify the original instruction from you will surely die to you will surely not die. And just like Adam and Eve could not discover the defining moment, you can see the challenges we face today. For over 6,000 years, we have continued to suffer. So, young people, I want to tell you that as we talk about influence, you have been brought to a good school. You may not know how good this school is until you lose this opportunity. It is when you will know that you are brought to a good school. I remember how the school used to be before it was called a national school. I still see how the school was in its early years of national status and how the school is now. I sometimes, even me, I'm also young in my category. I sometimes wonder why, for example, our chief continues to labor day and night. Sometimes the instructions he gives, you wonder, is he not sleeping? It can be 1 in the night. I don't want to ask you what you are doing at 1, because if you are not taking bath, you could be seriously snoring. But he's giving us instructions concerning your welfare. It can be 1, sometimes he communicates at 1, sometimes at 3, sometimes at 2. But the people he is laboring for, do they really recognize the defining moments? If he was in public service, for example, if our principal was a civil servant, his job group would be job group T. I know you don't understand job groups, but there's something called job group T. Job group T is an equivalent of a permanent secretary. For those who do history, you know the meaning of a permanent secretary. A permanent secretary is the highest rank you can rise in the civil service. You imagine the allowances they get, you imagine the benefits they get, you imagine all the privileges they get. So if our principal is that status, but he can afford to sit on the plastic chairs that you see he sits around, just to influence you, to see that unless you change, unless you work, young people will be hard. You have seen some of the machines that our principal drives around. You can imagine how they rest, because he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to be with you so that you improve your status. You know, if I was the one having those machines, I could maybe rioting and going to Nairobi and maybe going to Mombasa, because those are super machines. They're not like mine. Mine may stall along the way, but that one can easily get to Mombasa within a very short time. But the sacrifice is giving. All you want to do is to take ban. All you want to do is to take Chrome G. And I don't know why you think you are scaring us. You see, even this thing called Chrome G, it's not even a good spirit. It's a fake thing. It is an underrated type of spirit. It will kill your liver before. You see, me, I was brought up in the army, and I could assess the mess. In the army, there's something we call the mess. That is where I still remember some of the refined brands of whiskey I could see my dad have. There's something like Borzoi. What are these people tunasema Chrome G? So what is Chrome G now? Umeona Borzoi kweli? Umeona Johnny Walker? Umeona vodka? Wachana na hizi bangi munavuta. Have you seen the refined bangies which don't even kill? Have you seen Marlboro? Wachana na hii Marlboro mnapanda hapa inawapeleka Nyambaria. Have you seen Marlboro? Have you seen Dunhill? Have you seen Rosenman? Leave these things that you are taking, which are killing you. You are becoming round, fat, kienyeji, and then you think that you are taking fine things. Those are not whiskey. Read books, pass your exams, and then you discover there is good whiskey if you want to take whiskey. For example, if you take the Borzoi, you can lift weighted and still take Borzoi. But hii Chrome G unasema, hii vitu mnachukua inaitwa kibao. Kibao ni kibao ya kukumaliza haraka. I don't know. Use these moments to do fast things fast. And then life will influence you positively with good things. So if you will take whiskey, you will take good whiskey. If you will take Tusker, you will take good Tusker. If you will be living, you will live in good places. That is what we call the battle for influence. I want to tell you, young people, you are not new to these things that you are trying to scare us around, thinking that you are creating any history. Politicians have continually struggled to influence us. Businessmen, have you asked yourself why Coca-Cola is everywhere? Why is Coca-Cola struggling to be everywhere? Have you asked yourself why the vehicle in front of you is always a Toyota? Where did the other brands go? Why is it a Toyota? Why are the academicians struggling to have their names on the map? Why are sportsmen, when the other day Kipchoge comes with a slogan that no human being, no man is limited, he has changed the world by making all of us believe that anything you want is achievable. And even before he could even come home, everybody wants to see him. Who wants to see him? Isuzu wants to give it. He has been given so many things which he does not even need, just because he has made an influence in the sports world. Look at scientists. When you watch TV now, Moderna is coming, Sputnik is coming, AstraZeneca is coming. Those are scientists who are struggling to be recognized by giving solutions to a pandemic that is disturbing the world. Look at Wangari Maathai, great environmentalists who have refused to die because they have influenced the world positively. Why do you want to influence the world negatively? When I've told you, ban is not new. Ban, nobody will put you in the books of history for having taken what? Ban. You will not be remembered anywhere for taking ban. Chrome G, if I go to Egypt, I cannot ask for Chrome G. But as I told you, I ask for vodka, I will get it even in Egypt. If you went to Egypt and asked for Coca-Cola, you will get it. So young people, I want to tell you that the battle for influence started in Eden, but it was sorted out at the cross. And since that time, all of us have been given an opportunity to choose. Unfortunately, choosing and defining moments are very, very brief. I'm calling upon you to know that Form 1 is ending, Form 2 is ending, Form 3 is ending, Form 4 is ending. Your life will either begin on a positive influence if you did it well, or your life will begin on a wrong influence if you did it poorly. I sometimes sympathize. There's a time students wrote to us, why do you disturb us in the morning? And they accused us of being chased from home by our wives. That is why we come to disturb them by waking up. Some of them accused us that we don't have wives, we are frustrated, so we come to wake them up. Young people, we don't wake you up because we are frustrated by our wives. We are trying to influence you positively. When Ogega literally converts himself to almost being a student, Ogega is struggling so that you are positively influenced. Because if we let these bank smokers continue getting mileage, you will be dead. So when Ogega struggles, when Mr. Muti, Akina Isaboke, Mr. Uchengi are struggling, I look at Mr. Uchengi. Sometimes after we have eaten supper, we are dozing. I see him carrying a mathematical ruler. I don't know which class he goes. That is almost saa mbili, saa tatu usiku. Hey, young people, I don't know what they see. I don't know what they see is frustrated by the wife or they see stress. No. They is trying to influence mathematics in you so that the engineers we have here realize their dreams. So that the doctors we have realize their dreams. That is the main business of being a teacher. We want to influence you positively. We want to change your destinies. We want you to be better. That is the gift we have as teachers. You see, if you become a doctor, I am a doctor because I am in your success story. If you become an engineer, I am an engineer in your success story. That is how, as teachers, we are rewarded. And eventually, we become great. Mr. Ogega, could be doing farming. I know Mr. Ogega, he comes from those areas where we have farmers. Isabokeia is a serious farmer. But they doze all over in the office up to midnight, struggling to make influence. Young people, don't take the sacrifice we are doing for a joke. Don't take the sacrifice that the chief principal is doing for a joke, thinking that he's just lacking where to go, he's lacking money, he doesn't know what to do, he's confused, he's doing all these things. You see, when I saw gas the other day, even me, I don't know. You know, I thought it is biogas, but I eventually discovered it's LPG. You are among the people who are going to eat food cooked out of gas. Some of you know your homes, you don't even have a gas. But you have seen your parents sacrificing, the school sacrificing to give you food cooked out of gas. Then you end up being just an ordinary person in the society. Young people, style up. Young people, take advantage. These things, many things you see around, me, I never saw them. They are things we used to struggle. If it is cabros, those are the things we call cabros. I think some of you call them ties. Those are cabros. Those things you walk on, those are cabros. Those are things which are placed in big private institutions. But you walk on cabros. Tiles. Some of you just sleep and even read on a tile glass. And then you just say, Nyambaria is not a good school. Nyambaria is not a good school, my foot. Which school do you want? Which school do you want? Which school do you want? I went to Maseno. You know, there are things marking has also assisted us. The last time I visited Maseno school, I do not believe that was my dream school when I was in high school, when I was in primary. In fact, I was shocked that that is Maseno school. I don't know whether it has improved because the last time we marked there was around 20 what? 20, I don't know whether if Kalulu was there, could have assisted me. I could not imagine. I was asking Kalulu, is this Maseno school? That time the principal was Otula. I also saw Otula. I was asking myself, is this Maseno school? I've been to Maseno school. I've been to Maryhill. I've been to Alliance. I've been to Strathmore. Let me tell you, you are in good. You are in a good school. You are under very professional hands. Kindly take advantage of these defining moments as the battle for influence continues, so that young people, when your story and our story is written, we will say that we influenced you positively. Where is that choir which was to sing? Are you now organized? Where is that choir which was to sing? If they are not organized, we pray. They are organized now. State choir comes with